Diti said, "It is very good that my sons will be magnanimously killed by the arms of the personality of Godhead with his Sudarshan weapon. O my husband, may they never be killed by the wrath of the Brahmana devotees." Purport. When Diti heard from her husband that the great souls would be angered by the activities of her sons, she was very anxious. She thought that her sons might be killed by the wrath of the Brahmanas. The Lord does not appear when the Brahmanas become angry at someone, because the wrath of a Brahmana is sufficient in itself. He certainly appears, however, when his devotees simply become sorry. A devotee of the Lord never prays to the Lord to appear for the sake of the troubles the miscreants caused for him, and he never bothers him by asking for protection. Rather, the Lord is anxious to give protection to the devotees. Diti knew well that the killing of her sons by the Lord would also be his mercy, and therefore she says that the will and arms of the Lord are magnanimous. If someone is killed by the will of the Lord and is thus fortunate enough to see the arms of the Lord, that is sufficient for his liberation. Such good fortune is not achieved even by the great sages. Om Jnana-timirandasya, Jnananjana-salakaya, Chakshu-militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukham karoti vachalam, pangung langayate girim, Yat kripatam hangvande Shri Gurundina taranam. Shri Chaitanya manobistam stapitam yena bhutale, Swayam rupa kadamayam dadati swavadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, we follow the logic of this saying of Diti and ask for the blessings of the senior Vaishnavas, especially Devaki Mataji, because if we are blessed by the devotees, we can be instruments in the service of the Lord. And as Diti here says, oh, it's good that the Lord kills my sons and not the devotees. It's interesting. So she said, again the verse, "It is very good that my sons will be magnanimously killed by the arms of the personality of Godhead with his Sudarshan weapon. O my husband, may they never be killed by the wrath of the Brahmana devotees." So the devotees decide, in that sense, about the destiny of someone, especially when they are in contact with someone. And if the devotees are pleased, then the Lord is pleased, and the opposite is then also working. So, but different with the Lord, she says, because the Lord, he doesn't take it personal. He does his job, he just kills them, and actually he uplifts those whom he kills. So in that sense, she was very happy, even though she was, we know the story since many days, we go along with the story that she made a fault. So they got a child, or she became pregnant in an unfavorable situation, and it was said, these will become huge demons. And I think no mother, or also the father proposed, or future father, mother are happy when they hear like that. Hear that. So if someone tells them very early in their pregnancy, your children will become huge demons. No, that's terrible. So she was also not happy about that, but that was the destiny. But then her husband, who is a great sage, told her, but don't worry, they are such great demons that they will be killed by Krishna himself. And this was, of course, because Diti is a devotee also, happy. That was a reason for happiness. She is the mother of the demons, right? The Daityas. Right, in the Vedic scriptures, we always hear about the Daityas and Danavas, demonic living entities in the universe. And this word Daitya comes from Diti, because they are the descendants of Diti. But it doesn't make her a demon in that sense. Right? She was a chaste lady in that sense. She was just doing, she just had this good luck to create all the demons. But someone had to do that, right? And her sister, Aditi, she's the mother of the demigods. which is also interesting because it brings the demons and the demigods very close, right? They are brothers, cousins, right? Cousins. And that shows the good and bad, it's not so far from each other. It's all relative in the material universe. And in the Bhagavatam, so often here we hear about someone changing the side. A demon becomes a devotee, and sometimes the devotee has some demonic tendencies too, right? Like Vritasura. Vritasura was thought to be the greatest demon fighting against Indra himself, and then it turned out he was the greatest devotee, right? So often, more often, I think it's that a devotee becomes a demon becomes a devotee, like also Bali Maharaj, and Prahlad Maharaj in one sense, born in a demonic family and all that. But this is not what I wanted to talk about today. I want to focus on the point of the protection of the Lord, which is one of the elementary points in our philosophy, that the Lord is always protecting His devotees. And that we should have great faith in that. Actually, in the second canto, in the last chapter, 10th chapter, the first verse, gives a list of 10 topics of the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam has 10 topics. And one of these topics is exactly that. It's called Poshanam. It's the protection of the Lord. It's like a core topic of the Bhagavatam, that the Lord protects His devotee. And the Bhagavatam is full of stories about devotees, and very often it's shown that the Lord protects them. Just for your information, the other 9 topics of the Bhagavatam, Sarga is creation, Visarga is like secondary creation. After the basic elements are created, then Brahma, he kind of arranges the universe. Then we have Sthanam, means the elementary, the planetary systems. Yeah, so we find this in the 5th canto, how the universe is built, the different lokas, 14 lokas, and then Bhumandala is explained in great detail, and then the lower planetary systems, as Prabhupada calls them, or the nether worlds, Netherland. Yeah, the lower, and it's interesting because Prabhupada always translates them as the planetary systems, because he wants to make it kind of understandable for us. But as far as I could understand so far in the Bhagavatam, it said these lower planetary systems are called also Vivadanaha, and this means caves or holes. A cave or a hole. And why? Because Bhumandala, which is the middle planetary system, which is a disk, is very thick. And inside this thick disk, there are these huge caves, which are called Patala, Sutala, Talatala, Vitala, Rasatala, and so on. And they are said, each of them is 10,000 times 10,000 yojanas in size. And one yojana is, they are different, but they are different, and Sadaputta gives also 14, 12, but I think Prabhupada said something like, 8 miles is 12 kilometers, right? China Singadif. So if you measure 12 times 10,000, so it's 120,000 kilometers. Is a cubit 10 to 120,000 kilometers times 120,000 kilometers. So it's a huge hole. It's a huge cave. Yeah. So this is the third topic of the Bhagavatam, Sthanam, and then we have Poshanam. And Poshanam means the protection of the Lord. So it's a core topic of the whole Bhagavatam, how the Lord protects, how the Lord protects, and how the devotee comes always out successful in the Bhagavatam, even though the devotee sometimes falls into very precarious situations. Even though he did it himself, the Lord protects if you are a devotee. Like Ajamil, right? He chose to become very sinful and criminal, but he was protected. Or Bharat Maharaj, he chose to have a almost romantic relationship with a deer. it was semi-romantic. He goes, oh my deer, it was he protected, but he fell in love with the deer. And yeah, it's not uncommon that people love animals, right? All people, they love. Actually, I have a what is it? A Telegram group for some of my friends from online to whom I explain Krishna consciousness. And these days came a topic up about animals, because someone said, oh, I heard that the animals, they are so unclean, but I was always a cat mommy, a dog mommy. I always had dogs, and I love dogs so much, and now I'm a little bit shocked that the animals are, so terribly described. And then someone else explained that, yeah, it's, of course they are muchi and they shouldn't see the offering and this and that, but there's also other side to it. Animals are also accepted in wider Krishna consciousness. And I said, oh, now I'm relieved, I'm so happy. And she posted a picture of her dog then. And then someone said, and suddenly they all posted pictures of their dogs and cats. And I said, yeah, what to do? We have them. We became devotees, but still have them. And then, of course, I had to also post. Because I said, don't worry, we also have a dog. So what to do, right? This is the situation. So the Bharat Maharaj, so it's not, it's understandable when you have an animal and there's a relationship. So he loved this deer so much and fell down, right? So, but the Lord always protects. He might purify, right? As Maharaj said, please purify, but softly. We should, be aware that the Lord can purify also intensely, which might go faster, but is intense. So the Lord purifies, but in the end He helps, He elevates. As He says also in the Bhagavad Gita in the 9th chapter, verse 30, what is it? Abhichet suturacharo, bhajate ma mananya bhak, saduriva samantavya samyak vyavyasitu. Even someone is supremely sinful. Sudurachar means he acts in a very bad way. Su means very, and durachar means acting bad, very bad. And Prabhupada even says someone does abominable activities or something, right? Really, really bad. He has to be seen as a sadhu. Sadhu is a holy man. We have now a little problem with this. We went through so many things with the church, misusing their power and doing terrible things and pretending to be big holy men. What they found out during the time, what even popes did sometimes, or big bishops and priests, they had children because they had illicit relationships with their housewives or things like this. Not housewives, took care of their house, and everyone knew this is actually their children, but they were called. He's the uncle. It was not completely public. He's the uncle of these children, but actually was the father, right? And then it came out and all the misuse, and then the church was condemned so much. So how we can see this? Someone does abominable things, but should be seen as a devotee, as a sadhu. It's not easy, actually. It's not an easy instruction by the Lord, but the Lord sees it like that. He says, no, he might have these tendencies. But a very important point, he says, if he's keeping on being engaged in devotional service, then he should be seen as a sadhu. Not if he was once initiated, 5 lifetimes back, and now he is completely in Maya, enjoying his Maya and doing terrible things. This is different. Maybe still there could be seen, some credit could be given to him, but he shouldn't be seen as a sadhu then. But if someone is seriously engaged in devotional service, and there might happen some things, we should not misjudge that. We should see, no, actually, everyone has difficulties, it can happen, and the Lord sees it. He is a devotee, he still clinches on my lotus feet, even though he is in difficulties. And then in the next verse, he says, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvatshantim nigachati kaunteya pratichani hiname bhakta pranashati, which is I think it's one of the most quoted verses of Prabhupada, which is like a powerful declaration that the Lord says, actually why he said he's a sadhu. Because he's still engaged in devotional service. And he says, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Very soon he will come back on the path of dharma. Dharmatma. Like his very self will be again dharma. Yeah, he might have some problem, but he clenches on my lotus feet, he keeps on going. He comes out of that and he comes back on the pure path. And he attains everlasting peace. Shashvat shantam nikachati. He attains real peace. And then Krishna says, Kaunti abratichani na me bhakta pranashyati. You declare boldly, O Arjuna, that my devotee will never perish. And this should give us great hope that we are never lost. And we should always remember this. Sangsmritya, it said. We should always remember. As devotee says, always remembering this, I'm able to keep my life heirs together. To remember this saying of yours. That your devotee is always protected. But we have to be devotees. It's not, oh, okay, I said once Krsna, so I can do whatever I like, I'm protected. Huh? Or I just believe in you. Yeah. It's not enough to be orthodox. Orthodox means the right faith. And we need to be also orthoprax. Orthoprax means the right practice. Right? It's that there are religions that are orthodox and there are religions which are orthoprax. Yeah? But we should have both. Right? It's not just the ritual. Right here, Puchari is doing it in a very, correct way. And then if you do it in a very correct way, then we are always protected. We are good devotees. Huh? No, there should be also the right faith, the right mood, right? But this is not enough. It's not, oh, I just believe in God and do whatever I like. It should be parallel. It should be the right thing, the right spiritual life. So this is the declaration that Krishna says, my devotee will never perish. And we should have great faith in this. And this is actually also, I like to quote from, I think it's from Hari Bhakti Vilas, the 6 principles of Sharanagati. What is it? Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyatiti vishvaso, what is it? Goptrite varanam tata atmanikshepa karpanye shatvida sharanagati. There are 6 principles of Sharanagati. Sharanagati means surrender. Right? This is what we do. This is what we want to practice. We want to surrender. So the first is to accept everything what is good for devotional service. Whatever is good for your spiritual life, you should accept. You should greedily accept it. You should take it and keep it and protect it. Whatever is good. And whatever is bad, you should put far away. And this is not easy, because very often we are attached to things which are not good for devotional service, and we keep them close. Yeah, so we should have the determination to give this up. And then, Rakshishyatiti Vishvaso, this is this point. This is to have faith and full conviction that the Lord is always protecting me. Rakshishyatiti Vishvaso. So this is a principle of Sharanagati. And then Goptritve Varanam Tata, to accept the Lord as your master, guardian, and Lord. And Atmanikshepa being fully surrendered, and Karpanya being very, very humble. Yeah, being very humble. So these are 6 principles of Sharanagati. And this one is to be convinced. Yeah, to be convinced that the Lord is protecting me. And then Prabhupada said here, a devotee is not even what is it? Verlangen. What is the word? Verlangen?
Demand.
Yeah, demand. The devotee is not demanding protection. You should be convinced about it, but you should demand it. Here Prabhupada says, devotees, when he's in trouble, he's not saying, oh, please, Lord, protect me, and here's this big demon, and please protect me. No, the devotee is just convinced the Lord will always protect me, and he knows what is perfectly right. Of course, this is a high platform. At least we should, cry out to the Lord before we have no Krishna consciousness in this situation. But a pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj, who will be the reason why the son of Diti will be killed, right? And he will be glorified in the next verses too. that deity will be glorified because your grandson is Prahlad Maharaj. And he was never, oh please my Lord protect me, oh this huge snake is coming, my father put me in this snake pit and here's a snake is, and oh my Lord protect me. He was so absorbed in the glories of the Lord, he didn't care. Very high platform of course, hard to imitate, but it shows this principle. So back to our 10 topics of the Bhagavatam, what we said. Sthanam, planetary arrangement, then Poshanam, protection, just for information. Then what was it? Then it was Uttaya, meaning the creative principle and the energy, what is moving the universe, creating the universe and moving the universe. And then we have Manvantara, the Manvantaras, and the turning of the time. How is the time developing in the universe? How is a day of Brahma divided in 14 so-called Manvantaras, which are ruled by a Manu, and every Manvantara has a certain set of demigods who are ruling the universe. So it's all on the cosmic plane, right? It's all about creation, how does the universe work? And the Bhagavatam, discusses this in great detail. And I think this is very important. When we are a little bit further into Bhakti, we might think, this is not so interesting anymore, and it's okay, but actually it's very important to give us faith in the Bhagavatam, that it explains to us the world, how it works. And I personally, one of my favorite parts of the Bhagavatam, especially in the past, was the 5th canto. I like this so much about the universe and how it works, and the planetary systems and the dimensions and the distances and the numbers and some or other. I was really into that, especially before I joined. I wrote this out and how does it work, and 3rd canto, the calculation of time according to the atom. I thought, wow, this is so amazing, this is so wonderful. It gave me great faith in the scientific aspect of the Bhagavatam. So it is important. So, and then from then on, Manvantara, and then we have Isha Anukata. Then we go more into the Lord's glories, the kata of the Lord. And there are all his avatars that discussed his activities and how wonderful he is. And then we have, what was it? Isha Anukata, and then Nirodha, Nirodha, Mukti, and Ashraya. Nirodha, Prabhupada translates as going back to Godhead. Nirodha is the going back to Godhead. Actually, it means more the winding up of the whole cosmic creation. And when this is happening, there's like a cut. Who is going back to Godhead and who not? And there are certain living entities, they go back to Godhead, and there are certain living entities, they merge into Mahavishnu. And they sleep for a long time until they get recreated. So this is Nirodha. And we have this word Nirodha very famously also in the beginning of the Yoga Sutra. Yogash Nivritti, what is it? Yogash Nivritti Nirodha. Vritti Nirodha. Yogash Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Now I have it. Chitta is the consciousness or the mind, and Vrittis are they are explained as waves. When you imagine a lake or the sea is the mind, and then the waves are these vrittis, waves. And Nirodha means extinguishing or being equal, absorbing. That your mind should be like a steady sea, so to say. So yoga, and this is the definition of yoga according to the Patanjali. Yoga means to make the mind peaceful. And the mind is not peaceful if there are all these waves, all these thoughts coming. So yoga means there are no thoughts. And we understand in Bhakti Yoga there are no material thoughts, right? We should stop the mind with all these speculations. And they're always agitating us in different ways. Because our mind should be absorbed in Krishna. So when we are concentrating Krishna, this is samadhi. Especially if it's a strong and long-lasting meditation and absorption in Krishna, it's samadhi. Prabhupada even said that book distribution is samadhi. The 10th canto says book distribution, this is samadhi. because you're all the time engaged in devotional service, and your mind is engaged in devotional service. This is actually our task, that our mind is always engaged in Krishna, in Krishna's devotional service, and then we are happy. Yeah. But if we are not in Krishna consciousness, as Prabhupada says, if you're not always thinking about Krishna, you're troubled by your mind, your nartas, your worries, your fears, lust, anger, greed, isn't it? But when we are nicely absorbed, there's no place for that. Yeah. So this is Nirodha, more in the practical term, but Prabhupada says back to Godhead, going back to Godhead, and then we have Mukti, which is liberation, and in the end Ashraya. Ashraya, Prabhupada says, this is Samam Bonum. This is like then the absolute truth. Paramatma, then later on Bhagavatam says this is Para Brahman Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's the Ashraya, it's the Summum Bonum. And Prabhupada calls also the 10th canto, right? Every canto, every Bhagavatam has a subtitle, like this is the status quo. And the 10th canto is called the Summum Bonum. Summum Bonum, the ultimate good, right? The ultimate good. What is the ultimate good? Or the absolute truth. So, this to that. And now, in the end, well, we have a couple of minutes, but I wanted to speak about the Sudarshan Chakra. And I was thinking, because, so much philosophy. This was not philosophy. Actually, it's not philosophy. Actually, we are not so much philosophers anyway. Sometimes we say, oh, so much philosophy. It's not really philosophy. If you really go into philosophy, this is actually different. It's more theology, right? Definition of what is God and this and that. Philosophy is maybe Nyaya, or maybe from the Western point of view. It is way more complicated. So if we're falling already asleep by our theology, which is quite Krishna-based, philosophy will kill us, actually. We are not so much philosophers, actually. Yeah? There are not many trained philosophers in the Hare Krishna movement, right? This is different. So we have some theology or like technical knowledge of Shastra, but I wouldn't technically call it in that sense philosophy. So now, and that's what I thought. Let me talk about the killing of the Lord. Yeah, the Lord is killing so much and all the time, and his preferred weapon is, of course, the Sudarshan Chakra. And then I was thinking, somehow or other, when was Krishna using it the first time, actually? When was Krishna using it first time, the Sudarshan Chakra? And I was thinking, it seems he was never using it in Vrindavan. Or does someone remember an incident where Krishna used the Sudarshan Chakra in Vrindavan? Huh?
It said in the Govardhan Leela, when it was raining, the Sudarshan Chakra was going around and protecting the Lord.
Okay, but this is not in the Bhagavatam, this is done by the Acharyas. They of course, they always give more elaborate information, that's true. But if you go strictly according to Krishna book, let's say like this, then someone remembers? I did not, so I looked it up and no. Krishna never used, let's say maybe in a situation like this by the Acharyas, but for killing, I don't know. Maybe if the Acharyas give information for... Because this is another thing, Krishna Leela has many aspects, and like there's a main storyline, which is the Bhagavatam or Krishna book. And then our Acharyas, they expand so much, and it's incredible how many informations are still there, and you can absorb your whole life, of course, into the reconstruction of Krishna Leela in this way. But I think every devotee should know the basic outline of Krishna's Leela according to Bhagavatam and Krishna book. Yeah, so no, in the Vrindavan he was not using it. And then I was thinking, okay, but when was then the first time? When was, according to Bhagavatam, the first time he used the Sudarshan Chakra? When did it come up? And the first time, as far as I could see, it was when he killed a guy named Shatadanva. Who has ever heard about Shatadanva? No, he killed the guy, the washerman he killed with his hand, like this.
The other one?
Huh? No, then he was fighting, no, he was not using Sudarshan Chakra. Yeah. So Shatadanva, you?
Didn't he protect Maharaj Parikshit with the
But this was also why there he was already Dwarka and this and that. Yeah, it's true. But this is true also. Yeah, but this was late. Yeah. So Shatadanva was involved in a conspiracy. Oh, we have a conspiracy theory. No, it's not a theory. It's true. It's not a theory. Because Shatadanva, he was killing Krishna's father-in-law. Terrible, terrible story. Yeah, he killed a king named Satrachit, and Satrachit's daughter was Satyabhama, right? Satyabhama. And when Satyabhama, and Krishna was at that time not in Dwarka when his father-in-law was killed, but Satyabhama was there, and she woke up in the night, and she actually found her dead father, and she was very, very shocked. He was killed at night during his sleep. Shatadanva did something really not nice for a Kshatriya. He killed another Kshatriya during he was asleep. And she immediately she was crying, she was very shocked, and she put her father in a container of ghee and herbs to, preserve the body. And then she quickly went to Hastinapur. I think it was in Hastinapur, Indraprastha, because Krishna was there. And she was crying, oh, my father. And Krishna was also, oh no, this is so terrible. He was also lamenting with her. And then he went back to Dwarka to find out what happened and who did it. And then it was a longer story, and he chased then Shatadanva together with Balaram on the chariot. And Shatadanva was on his chariot and fleeing. And Shatadanva had a very valuable jewel, the most precious jewel, so to say. It's called the Shyamantaka jewel. And this jewel was given by the sun god himself to Satrachit, whom he killed. And he said, whoever has this jewel, since when I changed into Krsna ashram, suddenly jewels became very interesting for me. Very interesting and very attractive. Yeah, because you need some gifts to give, and what you want to give, and what is this and that, and what is the value of this and how. And actually very beautiful, right? Sapphire is very beautiful, and rubies are very beautiful, and all that. Diamonds very beautiful, and gold and silver, very nice. Yeah, you need then a ring for your marriage. What do I get? And gold, this and that. Suddenly, these things become very important and also interesting. So I found this interesting. So I could appreciate then, because if you go into these jewels, what is their beauty, value, and also their aesthetic, and also their power, right? In astrology, Vedic astrology, it's also said jewels are important. They have some certain energy. And if you have already a small diamond, which is so attractive, or a ruby or whatever, imagine the Shyamantaka jewel. It was so effulgent. When you have a small diamond, you see it's very effulgent. A nice diamond is shining. It somehow catches the light and reflects in a very beautiful way. And if you have a nice jewel and has many diamonds and it's made of gold and the light falls on it and suddenly it reflects, it's very beautiful, right? But the Shyamantaka jewel was so beautiful. When you had that, you were shining like the sun god himself. And it produced every day, and I forgot what it was, but it's a certain number. Every day it produced a couple of kilogram gold, pure gold. It just manifested out of this jewel. And now this gold is also very important, right? Gold right now has an historic high price. And now they all speculate, buying gold is very important, save your money, and gold, yes, and will become even more expensive. Huh? Gold, 1 kilo, I think is now, I don't know, what is it, 50,000 euros or something. 1 kilo, 50,000. And it produced every day like 10 kilos or something. Who wouldn't like to have that thing? I wouldn't mind. I could, give so many donations every day. And so, anyway, Satrachit, when he got this jewel, and why did he get it? Because he was a pure devotee. He was a pure, unalloyed devotee of the sun god. He had so much devotion, and he was every morning when the sun was rising, standing at the beach and reciting wonderful prayers to the sun god. And one day the sun god himself, he was so pleased with his pure devotee, Satyajit, he appeared in front of him. Himself, the sun god himself, Vivasvan, a very powerful living entity. Beautiful, shining, powerful, right? And he gave him this, here my dear devotee, I like you so much, you pleased me so much, here. This is a small present for you. For the sun god, this is nothing. The demigods, they have so much opulence. We are already amazed by this Yamantaka jewel, but they have this, everyone has one of that. Demigods are so beautiful, so opulent. They're amazing. And no wonder why people sometimes want to go there. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, don't get bewildered by the flowery language of the Vedas, which explain to you the beauties of the heavenly worlds. Because when you hear that all the time, you say, wow, I want to go there. Of course I want to go. What do I have to do? Oh yeah, you do this yaga, that yaga, this mantra, that, and you can go there after this life. Oh really, I want to go there. I want to do that. Yeah? And then, next life, they become gods. And live in great opulence for thousands and thousands of years, according to our calculation, not theirs. Their calculation is also 100 years. From our point of view, wow, they are called Amara, those who will never die. But they are also dying. So then Krishna says in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, then they will come back to this Martya Loka, to this world of death. And the only thing what remains is just a nice remembrance of the pleasures that you had. Just the desires, the longing will still be there. So Prabhupada calls it a will-o'-the-wisp. Have you ever read this phrase of Prabhupada? Something says a phantasmagoria. Prabhupada used sometimes very interesting phrases. The material world, the material pleasures are a phantasmagoria. It's just an illusion. And it's a will-o'-the-wisp, some old English saying also for like an imagination. It's an illusion. Yeah. So anyway, so Satyajit, he got this jewel and he was very happy and he was wearing it. Who wouldn't wear it, right? He was wearing it, he was so proud. Wow, this wonderful jewel. If you have some new gadget or some jewel, you like to wear it. Your ring, your this or that, your camera, your cell phone, whatever, right? We are amazed by the matter. And he was running around proud. Oh, I have this wonderful jewel. I'm so cool. I'm the man. I'm the man in the hood. Yeah. And he was entering into Dwaraka. And he was so shining and so effulgent, and people couldn't recognize who is he. He was, he was blinding them. Huh? He couldn't see. And they were running to Krishna. Krishna was at that time in his palace, and I forgot what he was doing. I think he was playing chess or something. He was doing something either with Balaram or Rukmini. They were like, Krishna hanging out, having fun. Krishna is so cool. Huh? And they were coming, the Yadavas, huh? The people were coming. Oh, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna! Something wonderful is happening. The sun god himself came to Dwaraka. He wants to see you. It's amazing. And Krishna said, it's not the sun god, come on. He says, no, it's so fun. No, it's Satyajit. He just got this jewel from the sun god. Krishna knew it right away. Krishna knew it. Well, he was not impressed. No, he was not impressed. And then it came so far that Krishna approached Satyajit and told him, see, you are living in the kingdom of King Ugrasena, right? Yes, right. And normally the best of the best should always be offered to the king, isn't it? Yes. You have to give your jewel to King Ugrasena. And he couldn't do it. He was no, I cannot do it. He was very attached to the jewel. And the story continues. Actually, I didn't want to tell this whole story, but now I'm in it. Huh? I cannot get out of it. Actually, I wanted to tell you all the people who Krishna killed with his Sudarshan Chakra. And just mention the names and tell it shortly. But if I would go in every story, maybe I just mention them and then I go back to the story. I wanted to tell it. So first was this Shatadhanva. Second, who was the second? Huh?
actually, this mentioned that he got the chakra, and he was with Arjuna in the forest, and then Arjuna got a Gandiva bow, and so Krishna officially first time got.
Ah, yeah, it's in the Mahabharata.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Shatadanda, I think that the second one. Then.
No, but what do you mean? He got it, but he was not killing anyone with the chakra.
He was killing
the animals.
Whoever was coming out.
Yeah. Okay, but this is not in the Krishna book. This is in Mahabharata. Yeah. No, it's not in the Krishna book. This is Mahabharata. Yeah, that's true. So, but the second person who Krishna killed was another demon. His name was Mura. And I think this is why Krishna is called Murari. If someone can correct me, I think it's that one. And the Mura demon, he was actually not such a big demon. He was actually the guard of a bigger demon who's called Baumasura. Yeah. So the Mura demon, he was living under the water, and I think he had 3 heads, and he was like a real monster. Yeah. Many of these demons, when you say Asura, they are like human in form. But this Mura demon, he was like a monster guy. So, and Krishna killed him. Okay, anyway, if I tell all the stories. So, and then he killed also the lord of the Mura demon, who is Baumasura. And then he killed Banasura, the guy with the many arms. He cut off actually was not killing him, just cut off the arms. And who came then? I think then came Paundraka. And then came Shishupal. And then came Shalva, the guy with the UFO. Yeah, that's also an amazing story, the guy with the UFO. And then he killed, after Shalva, he killed Vidurata, who was the brother of Dantavakra, who is the brother of Shishupal. And maybe I forgot someone. Anyways. Okay, so let's go back to the story. Shyamataka jewel. So, but to make it short. Shatadanda was killed in the end of the story. So Satyajit didn't want to give this jewel to Ugrasena. And he actually thought Krishna is just envious of me. He wants to have my jewel. He just pretends, you're the king, the king is actually, no, but actually I want it. And one day he was lending this jewel, and actually he made an altar, like a palace, for this jewel, put it on a nice altar, and he worshipped the jewel there every day, and it produced this gold. Bing, bing, bing. Right, in our mythologies, also in our old stories, we have a story of a donkey who is spying, spying? Spitting, spying the gold coins. You know this story? There's a magical, mystical donkey who can spit gold coins. I don't know the whole story, how it goes, but interesting, huh? Gold coins. And there was another story connected with this. There was a guy, he had a bag, and in the bag there was like a club, but a very simple club, which could fly by itself and beat up everyone you liked. It's called der Knüppel aus dem Sack. You know the story? Mataji knows it. It's like old stories, right? It was from Grimm's Märchen, yeah, exactly, yeah. Der Knüppel aus dem Sack. I also always wanted to have the Knüppel aus dem Sack. I thought this is really cool. You have a bag. Don't mess with me, or my club is coming after you. So every day it was producing so much gold, and he was worshipping that. He was so attached. And yeah, attachment to money is a problem, also for devotees. Really, it's a real issue. Money is so powerful. Gold, money is so powerful. Especially in this age, there's Kali inside. Kali took shelter in the gold, which is money. Money is kind of a representation of gold. Of course, they separated the real connection, but still. So Kali is inside, and also for devotees, it's very tempting. Money, money, money. That's the reason why Prabhupada said Grihastha should give 50%. I wonder really who is doing that. I think this is like 10%, 5% of ISKCON Grihasthas do that. This why? Because it's my money. It's my money. It's mine. I give donation, yes. Little. Yeah? Yeah. How much you can give, right? Look how empty it is. Give? Yes, it's not easy. Okay, so he was very attached to this jewel, the beauty, shining, gold, and everything. And this Krsna guy comes and wants to take it away from me. How dare he? I was really obsessed. And one day he was giving the jewel to his brother, Prasena. His name was Prasena. And Prasena was, whoa, thank you, brother, and was riding through the forest. Interesting, riding through the forest with a jewel. I don't know. It was on hunt or something. It was riding through the forest with a jewel. Oh, I'm so cool. I have a jewel. I know what to do. Great. Impressed the whole forest. And suddenly a huge tiger, no, it was a lion actually. I think it was a lion. It's interesting, huh? Lions in India. Nowadays, I don't think there are lions in India, but there are lions in India? Sure. Also, they're in Africa. There are 2 lions in India. Whoa, yeah. In Simhachalam and in Shingakshetra. Yeah, no, but I don't know. There are tigers, of course, they are in India, but lions, okay. If you say so, I believe you. I've seen them. You've seen? Huh? Okay, very nice. Good to know. We learned something. The G said it. So then the lion captured Prasena and killed him. And I don't know, took the jewel. It's an interesting line. I don't know how he took it, but then another guy comes. Not a guy, a very powerful, actually now the person who comes in the scene is the oldest living entity in the universe after Brahma, it said. The oldest living entity of the universe, and this is not known so widely. And it said he's the lord of the bears and the monkeys. His name is Jambavan, and he's very strong and very old, of course, and powerful. Because it's a Jambavan, it means born from it's also called Ambuchata or something. His name is, I think, also Ambuchata. It's born from the lotus flower. How was it? Because when Brahma made his austerities in the beginning of the creation, either when he was, it said, making austerities, he was sweating, or something said when he was in ecstasy, a tear dropped, and out of this tear, Jambavan was born. So he's around a long time. And he saw this lion and killed the lion and took the jewel and went back into his cave. He was living in a huge cave system in this forest. So in the meantime, Satrajit is back in Dwarka and like, hey, where's my brother? What's going on? Probably he had a sun watch. The sun god. Maybe my sun watch is not going. There's something wrong with my sun watch. Where's my brother? He was missing his brother very much. I miss my brother so much. Yeah, he was missing his jewel probably. So, and he was so upset, and he thought, it must have been Krsna. You know, Krsna came these days, he wanted to take my jewel away. He's so attached because Atma Vanmanya Te Jagat. You know, he was so attached to a jewel, so he thought, everyone is attached to my jewel. Everyone wants to have my jewel. No one will get it. And then he went to the city, Dwarka, and he was telling all the people, Krsna killed my brother and took my jewel away, and made a rumor in the whole city. And it went, oh really? Yes, he was killing him. And did you hear Krsna? What he did? Oh, he killed Prasena. What? The whole city was like infected by this rumor. And even Krsna heard it. He heard this rumor and said, I cannot accept this. I have to, find out what happened to Prasena. And he took a small group of his friends, the Yadavas, and they went and searched everywhere for Prasena. And they went also in this forest. And they went to this forest and they found then the dead body of Prasena. And found also the lion and understood what's going on. And then Krsna went to find the jewel. He wanted actually to find the jewel. And he found an entrance to this cave. And said, something must be here inside. This was the cave of Jambavan. And he was standing in front of this cave with his friends. And let's go, we find. But they were like, oh, there's a dark cave, and what's going on there? He said, okay, you stay here. Don't worry, don't be afraid, I will go alone. Krishna was fearless. You would say, it's a problem for Krishna. Of course, he knows everything. He knows what's inside, he can, he's all powerful, it's God. But still, he, played this Manushya Leela, right? And in that sense, compared to us also, right? So fearless. Who would go into a big, dark, unknown cave? Imagine you go to the forest, nice Sunday morning, walk a nice chopper walk through a forest. Oh, I never walked this path and this path. Oh, it's so beautiful. Sun is shining, birds are making nice songs. And then suddenly, we stand in front of a cave, big cave. Yeah, it's so dark. What do you do? Oh, adventure! Nice, cool. Let's see what's going on. You take your phone, turn on Taschenlampe, and you go inside the cave. Huh? Or who would say, maybe next time. Maybe I'll bring friends and then we go on adventure. Alone, maybe, huh? So Krishna was going alone inside and searching everywhere. It's a big system. And suddenly comes in the room. And in this room there was a small child. And this small child was playing with this jewel. And Krishna said, wow, there's the jewel. Wow, finally I found it. And he went there and took it. And the child starts screaming. And suddenly the nurse comes in. And she sees an unknown person in her cave. Interesting, the nurse, no? And she, And Jambavan hears that. And immediately comes, Jambavan's angry. What's going on here? Who are you? What are you doing in my cave? What are you doing with my son? I think it was his son. What are you doing with my jewel? And he attacked him. He attacked Krishna. But actually Jambavan is a devotee of Krishna. But he couldn't recognize, because he's actually a devotee of Ramachandra. He's actually a devotee of Ramachandra. And he was fighting with Ramachandra thousands or millions of years in the past against Ravana. So he was still around. And he attacked Krishna, and Krishna said, yes, of course, no problem, let's fight. And they had a good fist fight for, how long was it? 20 days or something? In Bhagavatam says like 20, some like incredible long time, huh? 28 days. 28 days fighting. And before this fight, before Krishna entered the cave, he told his friends, you wait for me, I think 7 days or something. And, 12 days, thank you. You wait for me 12 days, and if I'm not back in 12 days, you go back to the city and... Something like this, huh? What was it?
After 12 days,
yeah.
His friends leave.
Oh, he was not telling them go back after 12 days? No, they just left, huh? They just left, okay. I mixed it up because I saw also a movie once about this Leela. There's an old Indian movie in black and white. Maybe someone of you saw it. It's really interesting, it's nice. But so sometimes I mix up some details maybe. Anyway, they went back to the city and were really sad. And they thought Krishna is dead. And they made already ceremonies to, I think it was Durga or something, for protection of Krishna. And they really thought we lost Krishna. He was not coming back. They waited 12 days, right? They waited 12 days. Imagine. 12 days. They were not giving up. Yeah, he must come back. 12 days. But after 12 they could not wait anymore and they went back. So Krishna was fighting 28 days against Jambavan. And then Jambavan finally realized, this is my Lord. No one is as strong as me. Only one person in the whole world is stronger than me. And is my Lord, Ramachandra. And he must be the one. And then I think Krishna showed himself in this Ram form also, I think. What was it? I don't remember. And he said, yeah, I'm your Lord. Now appeared in this as a Yadava king. And Jambavan was kneeling down before him, praying to him and giving him the Shamantaka jewel. Yes, of course, it's yours. And by the way, I give you also my beautiful daughter as your wife. Huh? It was Jambavati. And I always make this point because I always wonder, when Jambavan was the king of bears and the lion, was he looking like a bear and a lion, and how was Jambavati looking? No? But he says, no, he was a kshatriya. Huh? Huh? Prabhu?
She has a human form.
She has a human form, yeah, of course. So, but did he have a human form, or he has a more bearish form?
Bear form.
He had a bear form.
Girl, no.
But a girl, no. Yeah, I think it would be very weird if Krishna would marry a female bear. No, but her son Samba was one of Krishna's sons who was quite naughty. He caused a lot of trouble. So there was the bear nature maybe coming out. So Krishna got Jambavati as a wife and went back to Dwarka after this long time, and everyone was so happy Krishna is back with this beautiful lady, and then they married and so on. And because it's so late, I cannot tell how Krishna killed Shatadanva. It's too late. So if I give next time a lecture, I might finish the story. Except you want to stay, I can make it, maybe I'll make it not too long, in 5 minutes or something. Should I finish it? Or are you hungry already? Well, it's Ekadashi anyways. Okay, let's go on. Okay, so Krishna is back in Dwarka, everyone is happy, everything is great, and now Krishna has the Shyamataka jewel, and he goes to Satrachit. He calls Satrachit. Satrachit, look, your jewel. And Satrachit was so ashamed because he thought Krishna was killing his brother, stealing the jewel, and Krishna, no, I was not after the jewel. I'm not attached to his jewel. Why should it be? I have my Kaustuba jewel. What do I care about your Shyamataka jewel, right? Here, you have it. It's yours. And he was so ashamed, and said, no, please, Krishna, please keep it. No, I don't want it. But Krishna said, no, it's yours. Please take it. And then Satrachit was giving his beautiful daughter to Krishna, Satyabhama. This is how Krishna got. These are the 3 main queens, especially Satyabhama and Rukmini. So, happy end. Krishna, fixed the problem, got new beautiful queens. Satrachit was humble, got his jewel back. Happy end, prasadam ki chai. No, there was some problem, right? There was a problem. Because this Satyabhama was in one sense promised to another man. Not promised, but there was another kshatriya who really liked to marry her, and Satrachit had good relationship to him. His name was Shatadanva. Yeah. So Shatadanva was really, really upset. Really upset. So and then there was a conspiracy between, and this is interesting, Kritavarma, Satrachit. Now who was it? And no, Akrura. Yeah, I think it was Akrura, right? Akrura, but not Kritavarma. But I think there were 3. Kritavarma also. Who was the 3rd? I forgot. Anyway, but it was Akrura involved. And this is so weird that Akrura was somehow or other also upset by the whole thing. He was not happy for Krishna somehow or other. And there was a conspiracy to kill Satrachit, the father of Satyabhama. Yeah. A conspiracy. Yeah. But I'm almost done. Now I'm finished, right? So he went into the house of Satrachit, killed him during his sleep, and he took also the jewel. He took the jewel and he fled. So in the meantime, Krishna comes back and hears about the whole thing, and he searches after the jewel and Satrachit. So Satrachit hears Krishna is after me, and he's fleeing. And when he was fleeing on his way, he stopped by Akrura's place and said, "Oh, Krishna is behind me, and please save me, and please help me." He was really panicking actually, and what said Kritavarma, who was actually helping him in this conspiracy somehow or other. I don't know all the details, but then somehow or other Akrura said, "Sorry, I cannot help you. If Krishna is not after you, I'm very sorry, and you will manage yourself. You're a strong man. Hey, no, don't worry. No, ride your horse. It's a fast horse. Good luck. And closing the door. But Shatadhanva gave the jewel to Akrura. This is now interesting. He gave the jewel to Akrura. I keep the jewel. I keep the jewel. I think maybe this was the conspiracy part, that he kept the jewel, right? So Shatadhanva was fleeing on his horse, and Balaram and Krishna behind him, on rage. Krishna was really, really angry because his wife was hurt and he killed him at night. It was not right. So after Shatadhanva for a long time, and it was a long chase. And after some time, I think he was not on a chariot. I think he was just on a horse. And then his horse died. He was riding the horse so much that it was exhausted, and it died. And he jumped off the horse, dead horse, and was running. And Krishna and Balaram saw this in the distance, that he was not on a horse anymore, and they also jumped down from the chariot. So this is to make it fair, right? So we would catch him too quickly. And they were running also after him. And when Krishna came closer, there was some distance, then Krishna took out Sudarshan Chakra. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, it was the first time in Krishna book that Krishna uses the Sudarshan Chakra. And it was flying. And this is how Krishna killed everyone with this chakra. Decapitating, how is it said? Decapitate. This Shatadhanva. And then Krishna was running to the dead Shatadhanva to get the Shamantaka jewel back. And Balaram was standing there. Either he was at the chariot or standing there. Krishna was searching everything. No jewel. And he turned to Balaram and said, Balaram, we killed him uselessly. It's said in Krishna book and also in Bhagavatam. We killed him uselessly. Kind of, Of course, there was some use, not just the jewel, but somewhere or other, Krishna says, I can use it. And where's the jewel? And in the meantime, Akrura had the jewel. And he was thinking, jewel, nice, I want to have it, but Krishna, also problem, maybe I go. And he left to another kingdom, I don't know where he went. And at that time, because somehow or other with Akrura's father or something, wherever he was, or there was something wherever Akrura was, or his descendants, there was no famine and no problem. So Akrura left, and suddenly there was a famine in Dwarka. So Krishna comes back alone because they were not close to Mithila. They went so far from Dwarka to Mithila kingdom, and Balaram stayed at the house of the king of Mithila. They were kind of friends. And this is when, as far as I remember, when Balaram taught Duryodhana the art of fighting the club, because Balaram was staying there for, I don't know, a year, 2, 3, 4, a very long time, was staying in this kingdom. So Krishna came back alone. Suddenly problem in the city, famine, and everyone was complaining, it's because Akrura left and we are now doomed and doesn't work, please bring him back. And some or other Krishna brought Akrura back, and I forgot the detail how it was then, and then he said, and you have something for me? And Akrura somehow or other gave him this jewel. I don't know how the detail was then, but he gave him the jewel, and Akrura was also a little bit ashamed that he did that. But why was Akrura doing that? Because it said he was having bad association of Kamsa. Okay, this might be the first reason. This is why he was infected, by this conspiracy thing, acting against Krishna. But the real reason is because he was cursed by the gopis. Right? But this is another story. Important story, nice story, but another story. So then Akrura was, it's okay, jewel is back. Shatadhanva is dead, okay. Satyajit dead, not so good, but yeah. We have a nice Satyabhama and Jambavati. This is how Krishna got these two ladies. Okay, so Hare Krishna, thank you much for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.